going on, Vol fans? Welcome into Tennessee Football Talk. My name is Joey Petersen. On today's show, the transfer portal news just keeps on rolling in for the Tennessee Volunteers. And while there may not be many big fish still in the transfer portal like there was a week ago or maybe even 2 weeks ago, still noteworthy visits to keep an eye out on and some players that could be massive for depth reasons going into the 2026 season. Make sure you guys keep on hitting that sub button if you have not yet. We have added, since the portal opened, over 1,300 subscribers. We're 180 subs away from getting that number to 1.5K just since the transfer portal opened. And the reason we've been growing so much is because we've been pumping out the content. We've put out over like 30 videos since the month of January started. Daily free Vol shows all throughout the offseason right here at Tennessee Football Talk. So make sure you subscribe. All right, newsworthy item number one. Drake Martinez, tight end out of UT Martin, is visiting the Tennessee Volunteers sometime later this week. On Three's Pete Nakos made that known earlier today. What are you getting in Drake Martinez? Well, you're getting a guy who did decently well over his last 2 years at the FCS level at two different programs. This one, like we said, most recently with UTM. He's compiled 34 catches, 266 yards, 7.8 yards a catch, and 3 touchdowns in his first 2 years in collegiate football. And, I don't expect Drake Martinez, if he does end up coming to Tennessee, to come in and just be, unbelievably dominant. I don't expect him to come in here and, take over Ethan Davis's role or anything like that, but I think we can all look at each other and agree that this tight end room, it needs depth. Okay, plain and simple. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. JVD hit the transfer portal about a week ago. You did not expect that. Now, if that didn't end up happening, you'd be fine, but now you're left with Ethan Davis as your tight end one. That was always going to be the case going into the year. But then you got Deshaun Brom, your tight end two. He's going to be a second-year player. You got Harrison, Trent Thomas, who just came in from the University of South Alabama, and then Luka Wolf, who's going to be a freshman in 2026. I have no reservations about Ethan Davis's ability to play football. I'm really, really excited to see what Brom steps into in year 2. But regardless, you get one injury in that room, things kind of start getting a little bit dicey. So I, for one, will take as many players as I can get. For injury reasons, depth reasons, and also, additionally, we know Tennessee likes to play a decent bit of 12 personnel. Every now and then they'll throw in some 13 personnel jumbo sets, get 3 tight ends out there, and if that's the case, get as many playmakers in that room as you can on this roster. Which portal player do you think will be the biggest sleeper? Ooh, I like this question a lot. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I'm going to go ahead and say Qua Moss. I think Qua Moss, not enough people are excited about him and what he could be to the Tennessee Volunteers. News number 2, more visits coming up. Carter Shaw is visiting Tennessee. I believe he actually got into Knoxville late last night, and he's been there throughout today. Wide receiver out of UCLA, played football with Nico Iamaleava over this past season. And adding a guy like Shaw is a little bit more of a special teams addition. In fact, this last season, he had more tackles than he did catches. But still, first off, you could use the help in special teams room. You could always use bodies in there. And what I do like is the fact he's 6'3", 200 pounds. When I think about the tight ends on this, not tight ends, when I think about the wide receivers on this roster, when I think Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, none of those guys are going to be your big X outside wide receiver. I'm not saying 6'3", 200 makes you that, but I do believe that it adds a certain size element that maybe this roster and this depth chart in the wide receiver room, they don't have right now. And while we talked about this yesterday, wide receiver isn't the biggest need on this current roster. It is a little bit like tight end, a unit that could use some depth, that could use a few more bodies. You look into this season, you think about this next year, and you tell me, hey, Joey, we're good at wide receiver. We don't need anybody. We got Staley. We got Matthews. We got the freshmen who are going into their second year like Ra-Ra and Travis. But, guys, outside of Braylon Staley and Mike Matthews, 12 catches combined from what is most likely going to be three best next receivers of Radarious Jackson, Travis Smith, and Tristen Keys. And honestly, like when you look at it last year, I believe Tennessee got really lucky in the injury department and the wide receiver. You played a full season. Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, and Chris Brazzell pretty much being full health. Now, were those guys 100% at the end of the year? No. That's just because nobody is in college football, right? Nobody is really in college sports. But still, like, kind of like the tight end room. Knock on wood, if you go through one big injury, you're kind of left with some guys who right now, you don't know what's going to happen with them in 2026. You're expecting a big jump, but we don't know that for sure. So kind of in the, ilk of the tight end room, more bodies is good. Another thing that's good is this discount. If you go to chatsports.com/UTBrownT. If you like the rustic look, the throwback look, the old school look, a little bit of a different color, you're going to love this t-shirt, and you're going to love the fact that it's 33% off right now if you go to chatsports.com/UTBrownT. I put that link in the comments and in the description of today's video. Super easy for y'all to get to. Make sure you click it. You don't even have to type it in, and it's just $21. How often can you find a t-shirt for $21? I'll answer that question for you. Not very often. Hit it up right there down below in the comment section. Okay, for the next little bit, I got a comment on a video pretty recently, and they asked, hey, can you do a Where Are They Now segment for all of the players that left Tennessee and went to different schools? And I thought, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. Now, they had a decent bit of people hit the transfer portal. Like, it wasn't an unbelievable amount, but for this segment, like for the rest of the time we're going to be talking about this, we're only going to talk about the guys that were like either big impact last year or expected to be big impact this year, okay? And that starts off with Jordan Ross, which unfortunately he decided to follow the devil himself to LSU and play for Lane Kiffin in Baton Rouge. Ricky Gibson, he is going to play for Mike Elko in College Station at A&M. One of my best friends texted me. He's an A&M graduate, and he said, hey, what can you tell me about Ricky Gibson? I said, hey, really good player, very talented cornerback when he's on the field. But that's the big question mark. Lance Hurd with the Gerald Mincy route and actually transferred to Kentucky. So he's joining Will Stein and that group over there, the Wildcats, trying to revive Kentucky football. Caleb Herring is going to be in South Carolina with Shane Beamer, Dylan Stewart, and company. Funny, every single one of these guys is a different SEC school because that's going to continue on with JVD, Jack Van Dorsel, Oklahoma. He's actually going to join VFL Jason Witten, who is their brand new tight ends coach. Likely the reason he went in the portal is going to OU. He's also a Texas kid, so much closer to home. Finally, one not in the SEC. Let's talk about Peyton Lewis. He is going to Virginia to play for Tony Elliott. And who's going to be their quarterback? They just got somebody, didn't they? Oh, Bo Perbula. He'll play with Bo Perbula and Tony Elliott over there in Charlottesville, Virginia. Caleb Beasley is going to Louisville to be with Jeff Brom and that squad. Max Gilbert is going to be an Arkansas Razorback. Funny enough, my dad graduated from Arkansas. When Max Gilbert went there, my wife texted in our family group message and said, John, tag, you're it. And Boo Carter did what Boo Carter was supposed to do and what we all thought he was going to do for the entirety of this season. He's going to be playing his ball at Colorado. If you could choose one player to be back at Tennessee next year, it's in the portal, okay, who would it be? Let me know down below in the comments section. To round out today's show, I saw something really cool on social media. I thought we needed to talk about it. So this is the Big Ten availability tracker. Basically, what this is tracking right here, and this has to do with the new hirings you made at your strength coach yesterday, total missed games from all schools in the Big Ten. Indiana has the least at 49. 12-game average is 4.08. What did your dad tell you from a little kid all the way up until now? He said the best ability is what, Gage? It's availability. Gage did not even know that reference, but I know you guys did who are watching. Regardless, the best ability is availability. If you're not on the field, it doesn't matter. And I think strength coaches, while I don't think it's a direct correlation because injuries just happen as freak accidents all the time, I do think this is an important metric to look at. Like, that's awesome, especially because Indiana plays a physical style of football. So Derek Owings, We're excited you're at Rocky Top. Took this screenshot from a video that was posted earlier this morning by the social team. Shout out Noah and Sam. It's Coach Hype. Give a little fist bump to his new strength coordinator, who's paying $1.2 million to. You could just see the look on both of their faces right now, especially Josh Heupel's in that picture. Like, he looks pumped up. And I love what he's done so far in this offseason. We talked about it a little bit yesterday morning. After the Vanderbilt game, a game I went to, I was walking out of the stadium and I tweeted, look, I don't think that Heupel's on the hot seat right now. But if he doesn't make any changes and the same results replicate themselves next year, he's going to be. And he made some big changes. Tim Banks, he's gone. William Martinez, he's gone. Kurt Schmidt, he's gone. New on that staff in the places that needed it. I love it by Coach Heupel. We're going to get out of here. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Follow me on socials, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/VolsTalk. Daily videos